Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. It is almost time for game 2 here in the LCO for week 2. Of course, I'm Mac. I'm joined by Jubes and Skimmy. If you were here before, you know, you've known our beautiful faces or ugly faces, which I am currently holding as opposed to Skimmy, who looks beautiful with his new haircut. And of course, Jubes, who is the most handsome man we've ever seen, hence why he got the close-up earlier.
True.
And you probably haven't seen many men in your time, and that's why you're saying that. But
Yes,
I
never
appreciate
left
the
the room.
compliment. No, I do appreciate the compliment. I do. But you, because you know, compliments, I've said this before, compliments are very hard to take. They make me blush, they make me get fuzzy, and I don't know how to reply.
I think the best way is to just you just don't reply. You just go, oh, thanks. But I guess that could maybe come off a little bit cocky. So
yeah, okay.
you can make it awkward if you want.
Just stare them down and be like, cool. Or you can sit them with the old polite, oh yeah, cheers, thanks man. Or if you're really big brain, you had to like think of something on the fly, right, and be like, oh, here's a compliment about you. Like, hey,
I could do that.
I love your glasses, Mac. And you'd be like, oh, cheers, man. Well, I love your eyebrows. Did you get them waxed? And he'd be like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? This is a bit of a bromance. I thought we were here for League.
Beautiful. Well, I think we are here for League. So if you want to go, you know, we'll divert the compliments, and we'll divert them over to Mammoth. And let's look at Mammoth, and let's just say some good things about how good Mammoth are as a roster.
Yeah, so Mammoth, again, they have their pivotal player for this team, which would be Wei, right? He's known for his like assassin type gameplay. Those are the type of champions that he gets he gets off playing on in terms of like he has really good performances. Nectar, Buggy, you know, Nectar playing the Malphite, landed some very good Malphite ultimates, 3-man, 4-man. Buggy, I'd like to see him on something that has a bit of an early game presence, you know, assist his laners quite a bit. And Shryfrit and Shinky, the bot lane duo, finding their feet, you know, in the early weeks. Some highlights coming out here. The level 1 contest. You have to say it was pretty well played here from the order lineup, and you thought, okay, they're turning this around. Jarvan even gets the smite onto the blue buff, and I thought, okay, Buggy's going to go in here. And this is what I'm talking about the confidence, right? Not much of a follow-up from the rest of the crew. Maybe something they could have looked at, and shining light here was Wei, right? This was a cheeky little 1v2 here. Even kills the TF. Nice little wind wall coming on. I remember that. So we're seeing what Wei can do. Just needs maybe a little bit of resources, a little bit of assistance, if you will. Gimme.
Yeah, nearly a 1v3. And I mean, we saw him in the OCS last year, and he definitely had his moments to pop off and justify that he does belong at this level, right? So he's definitely the man that I would be focusing on if I was a coach, as to looking to try and make his life a bit of a misery and sort of say, you know, the rest of these players, they are rookies. You know, they are looking to try and find their foot in this this next level up. And, you know, you can call a spade. You can abuse that, right? You can look to try and, you know, make things uncomfortable for them. So definitely there is a lot of pressure on Wei, and I'm sure if we continue to harp on, he's going to feel it even more as weeks go by. But, yeah, it is the bottom line.
Well, look, it is today the battle of the bottom of the table, and the other team that they're going to be playing is Direwolves, because they're currently 0-2 themselves after an unfortunate first week. But the difference is this team isn't full of rookies, it's full of a whole bunch of experienced players.
Yeah, I mean, this team has a lot of experience. You know, we talked about it in the past already, about 20 years between the squad of them, right? And they have a big depth of, you know, options if they need to substitute players in and out. We already saw the option of, you know, Gunkrab and Kauruk in the ADC position being considered last week, but Windows Update came in clutch and, you know, disrupted those plans. But, you know, this is a team that, you know, they might not be finding their footing at the moment, but, you know, you just can't write off experience. You know, maybe best of ones, maybe these crazy super weeks aren't the best for them, or maybe they are. Maybe it's more exposure, more stage time, more options for them to improve. But, you know, really I'm looking at this team being one for the playoffs, one for the best of threes and the best of fives. But, you know, this is the steady hand. This for me is that player that gets you really excited. Dash in, full confidence. I've got the Baron, a game that was completely going against us, and that was looking to try and be a game-changing play here. So, you know, this is a team that, for me, I think is only going to grow from here. And, you know, the current standings definitely not reflective of where they should be.
Yeah, I agree with Jimmy on that one. Current standings don't really reflect the skill level of this team, and cheeky little Baron still there, as you touched on.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get a bit more insight, because unfortunately the sidelines are off limits, so Nat still won't be with us. It is going to be myself, Mackie Boy, bringing you the interview, the pre-game interview with the players, and joining me is going to be Nectar and Only. So, boys, Nectar, I'll talk to you first. How much prep did you put into today going up against Direwolves?
Definitely as much as we could, really. We, as an unexperienced team, we definitely had a lot to work on mid to late game, especially against someone like Direwolves, who have a lot of experience. very high ranking. You know, they all played a lot of their pro play, so we definitely prepared a lot for their strongest point, which is the mid to late game.
Cool. So very confident going into today's matchup then?
Yeah. I'll say I'm confident. You know, Claire, who's been, you know, he only just went to top lane, so, you know, hopefully I can try to solo kill him or something. You know, definitely prove myself.
Don't go leaking too many strats there. You know, you got Only over here as well, who's listening in. So Only, you know, you really enjoyed him giving you a little compliment, saying you're all a bunch of very experienced players, and yourself obviously coming out of retirement to play for Direwolves. Are you, like, did you guys also put a lot of effort into today's matchup? Because we heard from Dragku earlier, and he said, unfortunately, over the weekend, they didn't get as many scrims in. So what was the, I guess, the whole practice like in the Direwolves camp?
I'm pretty distracted by your shirt, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind the flower shirt. But yeah, to your question, yeah, not really. Like, I wouldn't say extra practice. I mean, we put in the same amount of practice every week. We don't treat any teams differently. You know, versing Mammoth today or versing Peace next week, like, there's just no difference in our practice. You know, it's up to us at the end of the day whether we win or lose. So yeah.
Well, that's it. True competitors always taking every opponent in their stride like they're all equals. So that's very good. Now, going into the champ select, you know, did you guys, is anyone thinking of pulling any, you know, fast ones on the other team, you know, just trying to change it up from what's happened in the last couple of weeks? Nectar, I'll go to you first here.
Well, who knows what Wade's going to pull out, right? Now we saw Yasuo. Who knows, we'll see. I think everyone's expecting a lot from Wei, you know, definitely do those pop-off to champions. So yeah, then if we're going to see anything, it's going to be from Wei.
Okay.
Oh, did you say my name? What about me?
Yeah, what about you? What has Direwolves got planned? Anything cheeky up your sleeve there?
That's what we're going to pick, but there's always a bit of spice. So, I mean, you know, you'll find out in a couple minutes. I just hope we don't run it down, hey, on whatever we play. That's the goal at the end of the day. So, yeah, but definitely a bit of spice in champ select. You guys will see.
All right, good. Well, thank you too. And before we do finish the interview here, Nectar, do you have anything you'd like to say to Only before going into this? You know, try to get him ready. You know, get him running at your top lane there.
I mean, all I can say is good luck, and let's make this a good game.
Oh, absolute sportsman. What about you, Only?
If you want to run it down mid, you're more than welcome to. I'll be happy to collect you under the mid turret. Other than that, yeah, good luck, bro. I hope you guys do well.
All right, thank you both very much, and good luck in the game. I'll see you at the end, hopefully. All right, well, there you go. So Nectar and Only, nice little insight into what is to come. And look, that takes us one step closer to the champ select. But before we get there, before we jump into the predictions, do you want to tell us which way you guys think this is going to go?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like an underdog story, I have to go with the Direwolves. I do think the Direwolves have this one in the bag. But that interview actually makes it really hard for me to say that, because I think I'm a Nectar fan now. When you ask someone, what do you want to say to your opponent? And he says, good luck, let's have a good game. It's done. That's Exodia. He's completed the game. Like, you can't say anything bad to the man after references. That. Like, he's literally just a gentleman. And I always want the gentleman to win. So I want Mammoth to win, but Direwolves I'm tipping to win.
There you go. What about you, Skimmy?
Yeah, it's hard not to go for Direwolves, right? You know, just from what we've seen these players accomplish individually before and the different rosters they've played on years gone by, you know, you had to gun for them. I just think it's too much of a hill for them to overcome. You can see it from the display below, right? We're all in the sort of same wavelength here. So, you know, credit to Mammoth in a sort of sportsman-like behavior, but I think it's going to be a big uphill battle for them.
Yeah, look, I've had to go with Direwolves. I was thinking about going for Mammoth because I knew everyone else would be going for Direwolves, and I've got to start to pull some fast ones to try to maybe get back in the prediction race, because I think I'm at the end. I think I'm got the worst amount of picks here, knowing that both Rusty and Jordan were pretty clean in the first week, and I don't think there was too much deviation in the picks between both of them yesterday, the day 2 rather. So I'm very far behind, and I'll pride myself on that, you know. I'm learning. I'm learning as we go, and that's all I can ask for. But also, Direwolves, I did really like what I saw from them last week, even though, unfortunately, they did go for the 0-2 last week. And I think this is where they are going to start to excel.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the game against Pensnet, for example. They definitely had a really, really strong early game, the first 5 minutes, but then just a little bit of misunderstanding as to really what the plays were afterwards. You saw as a result, as the game went on, that Parbu and the boys just all grouped up on his back, went for a bit of a journey, and almost like a magical journey as a bard, they just went roaming across and said, that lane, we're taking you down. And there were moments where TPs were coming in from the Direwolves, and they just went on the same page, and it was just gifting them, you know, another kill, a little bit of extra gold into their purses. So I think, you know, just an idea, an understanding, a sort of an objective as to, you know, what is maybe our win condition, or how do we really want to play this one out. There are definitely signs of life, right, for Direwolves, but for Mammoth, I think even with that sort of emerging play style, I still feel like Mammoth can have a really tough showing. And it might just come down to, simply as Jubes put it before in the highlights, that it's just a lack of confidence of, you know, one player going in, the other player saying, oh, I'm not sure about that one, maybe respecting the enemy a little bit too much.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I was about to ask you boys about Champ Select, but we don't have time because Champ Select is about to begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. These two handsome individuals, mostly Jubes, the most handsome man on the desk today, are going to take you into Champ Select right now.
Well, here we go, Jubes. And, you know, fill us with the insight. What was the point you were going to make there just before?
I was just going to say, like, sometimes when you're a young Mammoth lineup, you know, most of them rookies, it's very easy to, like, get overwhelmed by nameplates. You know, first week, they had a bit of a rough go with some of the teams that they were versing, and then, you know, now you look at Direwolves, you see Claire, you see Only, you see Shock, Gunkrab, Cupcake. They're all veterans of the Oceanic scene. So, again, what I think will benefit them is that they come into this game, they probably realize that they're underdogs, right, Mammoth? And so they decide, you know what? Nameplates off, let's just play our game. Let's play this game like it's solo queue. Let's just play the matchups like the nameplates don't exist, and hopefully that's something we see coming out of them. And early first pick of Thresh coming out of Direwolf. So Cupcake, you know, giving up the Bard, Skimmy. Giving up on the Bard, and he's decided to, you know, have that playmaking type champion.
He has, yeah. He's going to run it back like he did against, you know, Penitent Gaming. He wants to say, you know, that was a bit of a blip on the radar. We're going to make sure that we are going to have a composition which can thrive with the option of a Lantern, with the box, with a surrounding option of just full-on collapse. What's interesting for me is the direction Mammoth went. Kind of falls into the idea of what we've already been mentioning, right? That Wei is the focal point for them. They've removed both of Shock's best champions with the Syndra and the Orianna. And then no surprises once again. You know, the Udyr blanket ban just continues time and time again.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not something that you want to give to Only, right? He's known for his pathing. He's known for how well he plays the map, and especially in the early game. So you just do not want to give this Udyr any leads. And even if you can give him a lead, like Udyr takes his leads just by farming sometimes, right? Clears the jungle really quickly, and you just don't want that to happen, especially when your nameplate does read Only. And, you know, Senna being picked up here, as well as Gragas, Skimmy. So Gragas is a flex pick, can be put into the support position. Senna as well being picked up. Forces Direwolves to, you know, decide of, well, and actually, like, because they early pick Thresh, there's nothing they can do. Actually, I just realized Mammoth can just opt in for the Tahm Kench, and they can play like the Starve Senna type game, which is quite successful against things like the Thresh, because Tahm does, you know, soft counter the Thresh as well. So it's going to be interesting if they pick that one up now, because it will get banned away if they don't.
And I'm very curious what these next few bans will be, because touching on that point already, Mammoth have played this bot lane before. The Fasting Center, but it was the Gragas that was actually picking up the farm, and it went into that combo of a Jinx and a Rel that punished it hard, that were able to scale up for free. So now you're looking at, you know, Gunkrab and his options, and is that maybe the sort of the direction that Mammoth go, looking to try and limit his effectiveness as to how he can try and free scale into this one. Mammoth will go for the last pick. They'll pick jungle. They'll go and match up what Olaf offers by picking the Lilia. And there it is. You know, the first pick, it's already going to be the Gunkrab special. His most played of 2020 by removing the Aphelios.
Yeah, that's a very good Aphelios ban too, because talking with some LCS AD carries in North America, well, obviously North America being LCS, but they think that the Thresh Aphelios pair is like one of the, you know, the best pairs that you can make. So, you know, Mammoth have done their homework. They've taken away the Aphelios, and now they're giving, you know, they're giving Direwolves options in terms of, like, you know, they can still pick up the Kai'Sa, can pick up the Ezreal, but it's far less potent than that of an Aphelios. So, you know, like what I'm seeing so far out of Mammoth, I think in terms of draft, this is something that's really good for them, and they're setting themselves up for a very solid early game, but not even early game, just like an early to mid game bridge, in which, you know, you get to that mid game, Senna starts to pick up those souls, pick up those items, and just turns into that kind of carry that we all know and either love or hate.
Either love or hate, indeed. Definitely a champion that can sort of divide people here. The Sivir is going to be the last ban here for Mammoth as they continue to target Gunkrab's champion pool. The composition already has a lot of mobility between the lantern, between the speed and the shields and everything that Olaf and Karma bring to the table. So the Sivir, another scaling option, would have been quite disastrous if Direwolves are thinking of that idea. Final ban out of their court instead will be not only the Yasuo to remove both the Katana brothers, but also the Na in the top side.
Yeah. And, you know, that's just a target ban, right? You know, Wei had a really big pop-off performance, and that's exactly what I wanted to see.
There it is.
So, usually you don't pick Center Tam if you're fearful of either the Moonstone matchup you could get yourself into, or the free scaling lane that you could give over to the Direwolves. But because they first pick Thresh, there's just no danger of that, right? Yeah, they're going to have that Moonstone probably with the Karma, and they're opting in for the Jinx pick here. But you actually have quite a decent lane now with Center and Tam. And so I really want to see Mammoth play around that. And I want to see Mammoth really trying to use the fact that they've got, you know, a pretty decent jungle matchup as well as a pretty decent bot lane matchup. And, you know, Gragas, again, kind of negates every top lane matchup. You know, Gragas doesn't really have a bad lane. And it looks like Claire's actually going to be the one that plays the Karma.
Does look that way. It does look to be almost like a double support composition with the blind is there to try and go into whatever options Wei's going to bring to the table here. And the Jinx, kind of like what we expected to go into that composition. Just an option for Gunkrab to scale up and do what he does best. And a champion he actually hasn't played before in 2020. So one to keep your eyes on here as the final pick now with time clocking on. Dad, oh, it's going to be a Talon.
Talon, yeah.
Okay, so this is as spicy as Nectar suggested.
They've just gone full solo queue route, right? I mean, like the Talon into the Azir, sure. I mean, do you even need an explanation? So basically what Talon's going to do is just going to perma wave clear mid and just look for roams. You know, at a certain point, he might even sack a wave or two to try and get his lanes ahead. Now, the really only volatile side lane that Talon has is the bot side of the map. So you want to be punishing this Jinx pick as well as the Thresh. So you bet your dollar that Wei is going to end up there at some point in the game. And this Gragas is just going to be left to an island. The Karma is going to be left to an island. And sure, this Karma is going to scale extremely well, especially when paired with a Jinx and an Azir. But Mammoth now have the onus and the tools to make sure the game doesn't get to that point on even footing. So I'm really excited. And honestly, I really don't mind Mammoth's comp. Yeah, it's a Talon, and, you know, many of us are kind of questioning or we can't really foresee how that one's going to play out. It's not every day you see a Talon in competitive play.
Yeah.
But it is something that you could say, okay, you know, they're playing into their strengths. They realize where they're at as a team, and they realize what they need to do against the Direwolves lineup, and they've just thrown a complete curveball, and I really like that.
I suppose, is there an argument to be made here that because it isn't the go-to, you know, mid-lane competitive champion, that it is quite exploitable? We talk about champions like Renekton that need to find value in the early game that can then be punished heavily. Would you say the sort of same category falls upon this Talon here, that he needs to find those early ganks, he needs to try and influence the map here with Buggy on the Lilia to get some early momentum and try and really disrupt the Direwolves?
Look, yeah, Talon can't have his first play fail. If Talon's first play fails, he loses a wave and a half to 2 waves in the mid lane, comes back under-leveled, can't push the wave. Azir just has full control of the lane. So, you know, you're hoping for, if you're a Mammoth fan, that the first Talon move and the first play is quite a successful one. Now, keep in mind, Olaf is the type of jungler that needs to get low to clear as fast as Olaf wants to clear, right? Especially on the first clear. You'll notice Olaf gets down to, you know, below half health HP. So I got my eyes on Wei to see if he, as early as level 3, level 4, goes hunting for only in the jungle and just looks to pick up a quick kill or two. So again, like the composition from Mammoth, also like the composition from Direwolves, albeit, you know, early picking Thresh, early and then picking an immobile AD into the comp that Mammoth has feels maybe slightly disrespectful. But again, they pair that with the Karma, pair that with the Azir. They have enough peel. It's just whether or not they can make it out of laning phase even or, you know, slightly behind where gold lead isn't relevant once you group up with that Karma.
I'm very curious as well because, you know, you talk about this empowerment comp, this comp that will definitely have a lot of value going into a bit late. Is this almost a little bit of disrespect from Direwolves saying that we don't need to really match your craziness? We know that you might have that kind of solo queue aspect, that kind of idea of, you know, this is where we are at, so there's no need for us to sort of throw anything crazy at this one. We can just, you know, draft what we're comfortable with, draft what we know is going to allow us to empower and pop off with the likes of a, you know, a shielded Olaf, Azir, and Jinx. You know, either of those three can really, you know, make their moments in the sand, if you will. But you know, I'm really curious to see how this Center Time Kench gets off because, you know, last time we saw it come out of Mammoth, It fell behind. It didn't really exert too much map pressure. It wasn't able to really achieve too much into the game. It was kind of left to its own devices and into a well orchestrated team. That's definitely an area for them to say, well, thanks for the free pass. Now we can reach that mid to late game, and you're banking your entire bets on, the top half talent upwards.
Yeah, but the one thing I did want to touch on too, Skimmy, that we haven't touched on yet, is that, you watch the way that Claire played week 1, right? Claire, how he played week 1 was just full grouping with the team, sacking minions, being down a substantial amount of CS, and really just trying to facilitate and assist his team to the best of his ability. And albeit, it's a completely different playstyle from him, right? He's come from mid lane, he's learning a new role, and he's learning how to, play, I guess, more of a selfless position, in which sometimes, the 10 CS per minute isn't the best. And so, I think Direwolves have actually identified that, and that's why they've picked the Karma top. And, Nectar being the tank player that he is, they were able to, foresee that. And this Karma's just got a lot of value now. And because Claire has already said, I'm happy to group, I'm happy to play the game, then it actually makes sense. Like, as a group, they're going to be a 5-man. Claire's willing to sack CS. Claire's willing to get next to Gunkrab and give him those shields and give him those buffs. So, again, maybe a little bit of an identity shift, if you will.
Bit of an identity shift and a bit of a delay getting into this second game of the day as we are waiting for the lobby to be remade as players get themselves ready and geared up for this one. So as we get ready for that one, let's check out what Spooks had to say earlier on today.
I am very fortunate to have been able to pursue a coaching path through Golden Guardians. Something I was kind of always passionate about towards the end of my career was working with younger players and trying to help build that understanding of not only gameplay, but a team culture, and creating an environment where people can learn and improve. And that was something that I was always willing and eager to learn about. And so this year, working with a new group of young guys, I really feel like I'm able to apply myself more, not only in the in-game side of things, where I think I have quite a good understanding of the jungle role still, I would say, but also on the performance side. I've been given a lot of room to move within Golden Guardians to help kind of get the players in the right headspace, which has been really fun as well, because it's also something I'm really eager to learn about. And yeah, I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm very happy with the amount that I'm learning, and it's kind of exciting waking up every day with that purpose as well. So it's been a good experience for sure. It's part of my job to keep tabs on the other guys in the LCS, make sure seeing if they're up to any tricks. But yeah, I still talk to a lot of the guys. I still talk to Swift, obviously, my long-term companion in the OPL, who's working for an EU Masters team currently. So yeah, no, I try to keep tabs on as many as I can. I would say hello to E-Gym. I don't know if you still exist, but I'm still here. Don't forget about me. Actually, since I moved to LA, that was kind of when COVID started. So it's been a lot of quarantine on top of a lot of quarantine. That's essentially been my experience. I mean, I have had some chances to do stuff, but definitely not as much as I would have liked to have had, for sure. But it's just been primarily kind of work and solo queue in my off time. It's my my life at the moment. I'm always kind of keeping an eye on back home, and it's still something that I'm passionate about. So don't fucking let me down. No, basically, I'm just hoping that the scene can kind of keep growing and keep thriving. Obviously, it's been tough in the last year, kind of keeping itself on its feet, but I'm really glad to see that the scene is still going, and I'm very hopeful for everyone back home. So I hope to see y'all soon.
Now, Skimmy, I had this full script planned out about how I was going to say this nice story about me and Sam and me and Spooks and how we used to be really good friends. And then throughout that whole thing, he did not, he mentioned everyone, rattled off all of his friends, and didn't mention the guy that, literally didn't mention me. So whilst I recover from that absolute, Yeah, while I recover from that, you're going to have to take over because I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely disappointed from Mr. Sammy D over there.
Oh, hello, bud.
30 seconds until minion spawns.
Really, if that can materialize or not.
I'm keen to see this talent play out. I mean, normally everyone, you know, they talk about draft and draft this, draft that, and, you know, when I see the talent on the enemy team in solo queue, it definitely doesn't make me feel good, but I hope he makes it work. I really do hope he makes it work because it goes one of two ways, right? He either has an absolute blinder, pops off, or just completely runs it down and everyone asks why they picked Talon. But, you know, like I said, being the Mammoth outfit that they are, I want to see them just throw a spanner in the works, do something that works for them, take a little bit of a risk, and this is that risk.
Well, this is that risk, and I'm actually joined here by Farmer, the coach of Direwolves. Mate, speak to me. Tell me a little bit about what you make of this draft. Obviously, a bit of a spanner in the works here, not a champion that you would expect to see. And I suppose this is going to be a sort of continued battle as we find out the standings of teams that have experience, that have played at this level, and teams that are saying, no, we're making that big step up. So this is more solo QE.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, the Talon pick's a bit weird, but overall, I'm pretty happy. I think our champs do really well into Talon. I'm pretty happy with the draft overall. I think it probably could have gone better if I had a refreshing ice break during champ select. I think that would have helped.
Getting the sponsor plug in there nice and early.
Nice.
Talk to me a little bit about you know, Shock in particular. You know, you look at this guy having a lot of a you know, focus turned towards him, especially in this matchup, given the amount of hype that we've thrown towards Wei. You know, do the boys feel any sort of extra pressure at the moment, given that first week hasn't really gone according to plan?
Well, I think all the boys just had an ice break on the weekend, which really helped to refocus them, and I think they've come in with a refocused sense of like, we got to get things done. We have a game plan. We're gonna keep things moving. Yeah.
And on a final note, before we jump into this one, you're looking at this one. The boys have already said that, you know, we've got a lot of experience under our belt. We know what we can achieve. We just need time to find it. Is this a roster that, you know, is maybe beating themselves up a little bit more than perhaps other rosters would have done, given the fact that they do have that experience? You know, teams are very much, or players and fans and critics alike, are very much on the board of, you know, this is a team that should be either claiming first or a big sort of front runner. You know, is this a time to, you know, say to the fans, you know, give us time, believe, trust the process?
Well, I think that this team, I think a lot of people came in and expected us to just smash straight away, but I think that behind the scenes, what people are really scared of is what we'll look like as the weeks go on. I think by the end of this, when playoffs come around, we'll be easily the best team. Like, the systems we're implementing and rehearsing, etc., are really taking into effect. I hope it shows here. So yeah.
I look forward to seeing that take place. All the best, Farmer. Thanks for joining us as we crack on into this one. And Jubes, we miss anything spicy in the first few?
Look, just full clear from both. A full clear that Buggy opted in for on the Lilia, whereas only opted in for the red buff steal and the invade, and only playing with 2 lanes of priority in top side and bot side was able to not only take the red buff, to take bot crab, probably going to clear his bot side camps as well as get top crab. So Buggy from the offset is just going to be a little bit behind if only he manages to pull that off. And I just had to say, what an absolute value for money coach's interview if you ice break.
I mean, that's pretty much what you want, right, as a sponsor, yeah? You've got that guy, no shame, no pain, straight in there. You know, this is the plug, this is what I'm after, and he'll collect one after this, no doubt. But no, this is a game that really, so far, is Shock's Kingdom. He's up double CS, and now the first sign of life here for the Buggy gank as the flash goes across. The volleyball does not connect. There's the self-lantern, the double flare away. He's going to get himself blocked and rooted in place here. A bit of revenge, really more than anything, if you're a role player, a cosplayer, a lore lover, as Senna picks up the kill alongside Tom Kench.
I honestly don't mind your Tom Kench getting the kill there, by the way, because Tom does bridge like the laning, like does make your laning phase very strong. Just because the nature of Tom Lick, if you're able to hit that, a nice little trade there from Nectar. Not much going to happen in this top lane matchup. You know, Karma's just going to be able to disengage whenever she pleases. But yeah, you do prefer that kill onto Shinky sometimes because he is able to pick up the, you know, that item already and be quite a significant threat in lane. And it's, you know, those Tarm Qs are just going to scale up and do more damage with the more health that Tarm has. And so, probably best case scenario for Mammoth, because Buggy was really in a bit of trouble in terms of the jungle camps that he lost, in terms of the crabs that he lost. But now, all of a sudden, a little bit of a get-out-of-free jail card. You know what I meant to say, you know?
Look, I know exactly what you mean, mate. It's a day of, you know, shaking at the nerves. It's another new week. It's a super week. It's going to be a long one at just that. But as we can see so far, first blood here for Mammoth. And, you know, that really is business as usual. You know, that is the confidence you wanted to see. But the biggest question mark for me, the main focus is what we're seeing on the screen right now. How do we unlock Wei? How do we get this guy roaming around the map and causing the headaches, which makes One Tricks and Solo Q love the game?
Yeah, I mean, the problem that you have right now is that Azir's already had his base. Azir's already picked up the Seeker's Arm Guard, teleported back to lane, and so now there's just absolutely no kill threat. So as a Talon, you're 25 CS down, haven't been able to influence sides, haven't been able to get control of the river, and you're just stuck in this lane with no teleport, with a health bar that's diminishing by the second down to half, and you're going to have to reset and lose more CS. So again, not looking too good if you're the Talon, but they do have the shining light of the bot lane that they can play through at the moment. So really, Wei just needs to get that reset off. First Dragon going over the Direwolves, but Wei needs to get that reset off so that he can get to bot side and potentially look for that kill onto Cupcake.
That's what they'll be no doubt hunting for, as Mammoth had a wave underneath their tower, so weren't able to leave and go contest. First Dragon will go the way of Direwolves, and it will be an Inferno one at just that. So the continued curse of potentially a Cloud Soul starts to simmer in the back of your minds as we get to see exactly what could take place here. But you can see that Wei is just clawing away at an extra minion here or there, nibbling away to try and get a little bit of extra gold to maybe convert those 2 long swords into something a little bit more special. Maybe just a 3rd long sword. No, that's a misclick. Forget about that one. There is the Warhammer finally.
Yeah, a little bit of a misclick. And this lane is going quite well for the Tarm in the center now, right? They're basically almost even CS, you know, once this wave comes in, and maybe even be able to freeze this one just outside turret and make Direwolves make the decision. Do they reset? Do they try break the freeze? But the vision control right now, Direwolves have bot side of the map and top side. It's just a little bit too good. You don't really give Buggy many options. Like, where can he go besides down lane to influence any side of the map? And he has hit level 6 first though, so he's done a very good job keeping tempo, you know, keeping ahead tempo on this Olaf. And keep your eyes on this Lilia for a big level 6 play, whether that's in bot side or mid lane.
I do have my eyes as to where Buggy goes. Already rushed those Lucidity boots, so a ton of CDR already at his disposal to try and make those swell seed plays and cause all kind of headaches there with the Lullaby. But question is, with that lane flip that's taking place right now, this is definitely Direwolves setting themselves up for a Herald, so dragging into that very early on in the neutral objective department, and sort of saying, well, if you are going to freeze it as they continue to do so, Mammoth, then we want to find advantages elsewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, they flipped the map, right? Like, they've frozen, flipped the map, and now they've got the 1v2 both sides. And the problem with this now for Mammoth is that a center Tahm Kench is not going to push faster than a Jinx. Jinx, historically, in lane swap meta, was the AD carry that you pick to flip map and hold that thought. Lilia ultimate.
Yeah, gone to sleep, but just far too protected underneath that turret there. And just the harassment, the punishment onto Wei as a result, who was looking at it. He's just not been able to play the game and look to really, you know, showcase what this pick was meant to achieve. And just like that, the Herald will get summoned topside to try and break open the base.
And it's not going to get better, is it? You know, this mid lane matchup is not going to get better. It's just going to have to be a sack and roam type deal, the ones that we all know and love in solo queue. And even Buggy just getting contested on these Krugs, it's just it's hard to watch because it looked like a really promising early game, and Jinx is just absolutely free hitting, gets all the turret plates top side of the map, takes down the turret, and they still have never mind, I was going to say they still have Rift Herald, but Rift Herald was dropped off camera. So that was a Rift Herald charge. Excuse me there. Was a Rift Herald charge, but nevertheless, all the plates and all the gold going towards the Jinx. First turret as well. And so again, these lanes were looking really good for Mammoth. But that flip there really just, consolidated Direwolves' lead and was able to, bridge, I guess, the volatile state of the lane, which Cupcake had when he had no flash.
Oh, and that's the extent of the first ultimate there, Jubes. Wei popping it defensively just to clear the wave and go for his second reset so far. Just cannot contest, cannot match the power of shock here on this Azir. He's got himself a blue buff, so of course the harassment, the Sand Soldiers are going to come on through on repeat. And this has to form, or force more so, a kind of reaction from Mammoth to say either we're sending our bot lane mid, or we're just continuing to freeze because, you know, Direwolves are going straight back to where they started.
Yeah, well, and Seeker's Arm Guard's just a really OP item into Assassins, and if you're able to get that on first base uninterrupted, whilst the Talon isn't, you know, doing anything or doesn't have a lead, then it is a very big problem, and that's the problem that we're seeing unfold now, right? Like, Warhammer's pretty much negated just by that Seeker's Arm Guard. Flash Hook land.
The Flash Hook! He's a madman. He did it on Vision, but he had to make a prediction. He flashes on through, and that is going to be only picking up his first kill of the game. He is unstoppable with that Ragnarok. There's the explosive cast, which, well, actually helps him disengage. There comes the TP now, and Direwolves mean business well and truly. As they find one, have a little bit of a faker moment, and decide, well, maybe time for a little bit more too.
And they might look for a dive here, Skimmy. They got 4 or 5 members on the bot side of the map. Pumpkinch has not opted to leave the tower just yet. Shinky decides, you know, he's a frog. He's got a grey health. He's going to stick around. Slowly walking away now. It's going to be probably another tower picked up by the Jinx. Really accelerated now at this point. You know, almost 10 CS per minute. Has a turret and plates under her belt. So, going to do a lot of damage to that turret. Again, the Karma just like absolutely half-healthing Shyfrit. And this is the problem. When you play fasting center, you don't have the gold. So you're not as like strong early as you're kind of used to being back when Senna did farm minions.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's a trade-off, right? Like the less you farm, the more souls you're gonna get. And mid-game you definitely will notice the power spike. But when you fall behind and when you're, you know, level 6 to level 8 and those abilities come flying at you, then going to hurt you quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely that trade-off there of the immediate item advantages and that power spike for the scaling. There's the Lantern to get out of jail free card you were referencing before. TP gets used there by, I believe, Shock, getting himself back into mid lane, where we now find Nectar. And keep an eye on Buggy's positioning right now, being a bit of a pest. Looking to try and steal away the enemy wolves, but also looking to try and see if anybody's roaming on a rotate.
But I think Buggy missed a window there. He decided to finish wolves instead of diving Claire. You know, maybe they're not able to do it, but I think it's a play that they need to make.
Still looking.
They are looking, but Claire is aware that it's happening, and you know, now they're just trading off their bot side of the map. They're not getting anything in the top side. It is just going to ultimately be a way reset. And now look, they're losing bot side. They're going to lose bot turret. So Direwolves just a little bit too smart here.
Yeah.
Punishing the fact that Claire, you know, was heads up. He knew that we're making a play onto the Talon side of the map, and now they're getting punished for it.
Olaf there still picking up the kill and gets himself that extra 85 gold in the bank. Another turret falls on down, the second here for Direwolves, and what looks so promising in the early game, and at least the start there from the very first gank from Mammoth. The game plan has pretty much fallen apart from that. Rotations upon rotations from Direwolves here, just looking to try and run them ramping around the map and say, we're not going to play reactive, we're going to keep this Talon in check, and we're going to make sure that you're farming freezing center. Well, we're going to make that irrelevant by doing things elsewhere.
Yeah, I just keep pointing back to this mid lane matchup, right? It was something that we highlighted in Champions League.
Look at the CS disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. That CS disadvantage is just, you know, almost unrecoverable in terms of the isolation, in terms of the matchup, right? You know, at this point, you pick an assassin to probably potentially bully Azir in the side lane or bully the side lanes in general. And it's almost at a point, it's probably at a point where the Azir's just going to win the side. The Azir ultimately will probably just win the side against Talon now. That's how far accelerated Shock is. Uninterrupted, 10 CS per minute. And you have to start thinking, like, when is this play going to happen from Mammoth? It's a 4,000 gold lead. When are they just going to roll the dice and decide, okay, this is it, this is the play we're going to make? Because they have the tools, right? Like, you have the Gragas, you have the Lilia, you have the Force, but Direwolves is just a little bit too smart, a little bit too good in the vision that they've got down, and they're pretty much just denying any opportunity that Mammoth do have.
They really aren't allowing Mammoth to play the game right now. There is no stopwatch here for the Lilia either, so there's no ability to make those flashy forward plays to a four-man swirl into the Zhonya's denial that we've seen time and time again here. And I am quite curious to see what build Buggy goes for. If it is going to be the OG Moonstone Renewer to try and match tempo to tempo that we'd imagine would come out here for Claire. If he's going to go more for the traditional burn with the Haunting Mask.
This is probably the angle that Mammoth want, right? Like, this is what they want, and as I say that, Wei might be caught.
Oh, that's a flash forwards, and that's a flash away. Looking to try and do whatever they can. Empress Divide gets used, but both teams are split apart in the jungle here, at the enemy jungle, just at that. And both teams will say no foul, no harm, no drama. But there is a Herald on the board here.
So is that 3 out of 3 Talon ults or 2 out of 2 where it's been used as a disengage tool as opposed to like trying to assassinate someone, trying to do damage? And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have used it in any of those situations, but I mean that's just an accurate picture of current game state. When you're a Talon and you're using the ultimate to disengage, that's when you're running into a few problems.
Certainly is a bit of a window into the current mental of the player as to really where things are at right now and what he's able to achieve, and that is vastly, simmering away. Not really given an opportunity to showcase what this Talon pick was meant to achieve. But if you're a Direwolves fan, you're very happy with how this game is playing out right now. You still got the Herald to play for. You've got another Dragon in a minute. Once again, a very quick game if you're looking at an early Soul point to play for. And it will be the Cloud Soul, so even more mobility to keep running your opponents around the map and, causing confusion.
Yeah, and I think sometimes too, Skimmy, when people look at a convincing game or a game in which, and maybe Claire's caught here, might be Flash Lily engaged. Oh, yeah.
Looks like he's going for the Empowered Tether. No, the Tether gets interrupted. There goes the heal, and well, that's him falling on down. This time the ultimate from the Talon will find success, and he will get himself his very first kill of the game, and that was an area of the map that you said could be targeted.
And then what, you add, with that kill, you add about, 20 CS onto the likes of Talon, and still 60 CS basically down on the Azir, right? Because, you got to tally in the CS to what's worth. You got to tally the CS and the kill, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to run direct comparisons, he's still down a significant amount. But, at least the Talon's online now, on the board, and potentially they have an avenue in which they can force a 4v5. And as I say that, Claire TPs into mid lane.
Respawns, rejoins, gets himself straight onto the map to do something. Now keep tabs as to where Shock is right now. He's deep behind his own enemy lines, I suppose you could say, more than anything, as he's looking to try and join up with the fight. Shy for it, falls to flash away as that does not connect. That's a bit of a big summoner to lose so early on, as they have now been completely bullied out of this river. And Direwolves are given the red carpet towards what could be the third dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Mammoth don't have ultimates, so there's just no way, no realm, no world in which this is a fight, right? It's just a Direwolf Dragon. It is Cloud Soul, so you have to say thank you, League of Legends gods, for making it a less relevant, soul point. But nevertheless, very early soul points again, similar to what we saw in the Chiefs game prior.
Yep.
Now Mammoth have a decision to make. Are they happy to give away the soul, or are we going to see a full, out-and-out 5v5 in the river in 5 minutes' time?
See there, 60 stacks on the center for the Absolution, so definitely starting to wind up towards that power level that you know and love, as they've got the Cracker Slayer Mythic item complete, soon to have the Rage Blade, I'd imagine, being the second completed item to really find their feet and ramp up that power that they are aiming to achieve with a fasting combination.
Nice little eat over the wall there. Palm Kench things. Again, Jinx just almost a little disrespectful, farming down the mid wave like that. Absolutely no fear for what could come next, especially against the Talon and a Lilia, but they're actually hunting the Talon themselves, so...
Yeah. You can see the aggressive warding right now from the Direwolves, looking to keep tabs on this jungle, but look where they are right now. They are once again targeting Claire. He does have his flash available, but doesn't have the empowerment. He gets put to sleep. He's going to look to try and get out of that situation. It's just not going to happen. The Darkseer will find no value, get no stacks, and this is really Wei living on a lifeline, saying, I need somebody else with me to try and get myself relevant.
Yeah, and now what we're seeing is the two compositions play out, right? And this is where I think maybe the inexperience of Claire is hurting a little bit. So he's obviously a mid laner, right? That's transitioned into the top lane and into the top lane role. And in terms of composition, right, when you play the Karma, you want to be grouped with the Jinx. So in essence, every time there's a neutral objective up, every time there's a turret to be taken, you want to group as 5. And you're going to lose some CS in doing that. You're going to be kind of inefficient with minion waves, but your composition is going to shine, and there's ultimately no way. And I hold that thought.
Oh, Mr. Mad Lad himself, there he goes. Big Geordie on the cannon. He just jumps at you with the Ragnarok, says you can root me, but I can get you down. And, well, he flashes forward onto his head, hits them with the 1-2, and they break open their 4th turret of the game.
Was the E on cooldown?
I don't know, he died too quickly.
Because he ran away. No, but he ran away. Like, they didn't run together. I thought maybe Palm would eat him, tank the Olaf for a little bit, and just walk on out. But anyway.
Bit of a disconnect.
Yeah, a little bit of a disconnect. And so yeah, Daiwu's composition obviously wants to group up.
Oh!
Oh!
Cupcake is literally smurfing right now with these hooks. Goes for the instant box into exhaust. Unfortunately, no follow-up right now, but they can harass over the... Whoa! There's the bullet! And there is the super mega def rocket. What a name and what a play.
That was from mid lane too, so it's a little nicer than just, you know, being a couple meters away. So well done to Gunkrab there. Nice little ultimate, nice little pickup, and Daiwu was opting in for the Baron here. Skimmy could be dangerous. Flash up on Lilia.
Both junglers the same level. So no differences on those smite values. You can see that Daiwu also holding it around the 3k mark. Now it's getting closer and closer to smite range. That would be 680 damage, but too much of a risk to take. No time for a 50-50 say. Daiwu also up by 5k. We're making plays. Why do we need to flip this game?
Yeah, no flips this game. Only not confident in taking that 50-50, and I mean, why would you when you have the composition that outscales? Nice little replay there. Mr. Sniper himself, Gunkrab. So again, showing his proficiency on this Jinx. The thing that's scary for me, Skimmy, is both carries on the Direwolves have ultimately have 10 CS per minute, if not more. And they're both champions that pilot extremely well into the late game.
Yep. Certainly champions that we've seen these players, well, especially Shock, given this is a new champion here for Gunkrab, but especially Shock, one that he's played before and can definitely find impact. But I want to touch on Cupcake for a second because, you know, we need to show more love to our support players. And this is a player that, you know, he played the Fresh into the game against Pentanet, didn't really find the value, maybe wasn't really given the opportunity with the rest of the team how things were going, but has really shot up and said, this is why I'm first picking, because I just make flash forward hooks, blind or not. I'm putting the fear into our opposition here tonight.
I think Thresh is also like a little bit of a skill champ, right? If you're confident in your lane and you're confident that you're going to outperform the person you're laning against, and Ragnarok burn, so that's a key cooldown, especially when Soul Point is 15 seconds away, Skimmy.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just look at all the CC that Mammoth still haven't possessed to try and make sure that that Olaf is not able to use the smite.
Now here's where we're going to see Karma shine.
Another 5v5. From top to bot we go. Way on the flank.
Olaf in trouble.
Only. Could be put to sleep right now. Way looking for the assassination. Shyfred's gone already. Shock has already used that Empress device to good effect right now. Locking off that entry point. He's on the flank. He's doing whatever he can. Gunkrab getting knocked around all over the show. He gets himself a double kill. It's all things Direwolf so far. They're hunting for the 5th. But the Frogman himself is far too elusive and far too tanky. Forget the dragon. Only can pick that one up for free. We've got our eyes set on Baron.
Yeah, the Karma just kept everyone popped up in that team fight, right? You know, only one person falls down, and it is Claire, unfortunately. He probably looks at his KDA after a team fight like that and thinks, oh, well, why me? Why did I have to die? But, you know, the Karma did Karma things there, did what she needed to do, shielding the key carries in this scenario. So keep your eyes on Claire and Gunkrab. Obviously, Shock on the back end there is able to pick up the 1v1 kill, but look at that. Gunkrab taking absolutely pretty much no damage, next to no damage, whilst he takes down the whole team. And we're just seeing the proficiency of the 5v5 composition coming out from Direwolves.
Certainly are, and as you touched upon, you know, Claire dying for the greater good right now. He is the target, but is a champion that sort of forms the idea that I can make the rest of my team look good, and that's what we've seen from the KDA so far. Flawless from the Olaf, Azir, and the Jinx. And now with a Baron buff, as well as the Soul Point, tons and tons of mobility to continue the pressure and map domination.
We're almost at a Flame Horizon too, in terms of the mid lane. So almost 100 CS deficit, which is never nice to see or never nice to play against. I think I've even got Flame Horizons in the jungle once, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one. You know, that's why you're here on the mic with me, mate. We can talk about greater memories. Absolutely, mate.
You reckon my career just went downhill after I got Flame Horizon?
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. You wouldn't be wrong.
But here we go. Jumping into this one. That's going to be Claire once again. Locked in place. Explosive class. He wants to hit the Lantern. He can't hit the Lantern. He's going to get put to sleep and fall down eventually. That's his 4th death of the game, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the team are coming in clutch right now. They've got themselves that Baron buff. They get put to sleep. But they continue their pressure and now look to seek out their first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, and you know what? They might even look to NT Skimmy. Tamkent is such a big part of this composition, and without him, there is really no safety or survivability. You're seeing Azir just absolutely one-shot Shifree. Can't even play in that team fight anymore. Baron buff minions, they were able to clear, so Direwolves might back out of base here and save it for another day, but alternatively, they could rotate to the mid lane. Nice heads-up play there from the Lilia, though, clearing the wave before Direwolves could do anything with it, and
well, we still got ourselves another minute on this Baron buff, and one hook is all it takes. Big Andy Cupcake, he does not miss those, and he'll take it down, as will Jinx take down a second turret. The Nexus itself looking exposed right now. Is Wei can only dream of making an assassination attempt on that support player. He's managed to pick apart Claire, but with the team surrounding him, they put on an absolute clinic here. You talk about Flame Horizon in the mid lane, where you're talking about a 10k gap between both teams. As now, this might be the final push. One little extra chance there for Cupcake to flex his mechanics. But at the 26-minute dot, the Direwolves will get their campaign off to a dub.
And you have to say, very good game from the Direwolves, right? Played it well together collectively as a team. You could argue maybe a few hiccups here and there, but overall, as a team, played this game extremely well, extremely cleanly. Played their matchups how they were meant to play it out, and honestly, there's not much you could fault, right? A few things here and there, but very good to get their campaign underway and get some confidence under the belt. And I think confidence is key here, and they'll be feeling pretty good after that one.
Certainly will be, and I'm sure a player that'll be feeling very confident about that one is Mac, as he rejoins us on the desk. And Mac, you know, do you see many Talons in your games, Mac?
No, not usually. But you know, you called me a player, and I'm glad.
I was surprised.
I haven't played a lot, but what I have played, I've taken a whole lot of notes of. And Talon usually just destroys me in solo queue, and that is going to be my first question to you boys. There, not only. Also, quick shout out to Direwolves for keeping us back on schedule. You know, we did have the delay at the start, but that was brought back swiftly with the 25-minute game. So props to them for that. Firstly, so Talon was the final pick for Mammoth, rather. And I just want to know why. Was it supposed to be a hard counter to like any of the champ picks from Direwolves?
Like, in a competitive sense, I don't think Talon hard counters anything.
Okay.
It's not a very good champion when there's a lot of synergy, a lot of wards, a lot of vision, and a lot of competent players. And so it is more of a solo queue stomper, but, you know, my argument would be is that Mammoth came into this game with a plan, right? And they decided this is the way that we're going to win. And in practice, in theory, you know, it probably made more sense, and they had a lot more success with it. Unfortunately, when you're versing a player like Shock and a jungler like Only, it is very easy to neutralize. And they just had a very good game as a jungle mid, and it was just at no point did Wei have a window of opportunity to assist the side lane or leave that lane and get some work done.
That really was like the main talking point, right? Is that you need to make sure that he is able to, you know, shove out that wave, get himself an item advantage, a level advantage, and start roaming and doing things just like this. But he was playing so defensively. You saw at least the first two backs was him just out of HP, just unable to contest, unable to match, you know, what Shock was bringing to the table. And it didn't really get any better from there. You know, targeting Claire in the side lanes, it was a bit of a doomsday sort of equation. But when it came to team fights, this is really Direwolves' bread and butter.
Oh, for sure. Bread and butter it is, and when you draft Karma top lane, there's only one intention for that composition, right? It's definitely not sitting in the side lane, it's grouping as the 5v5, and 23 minutes in, we finally got that 5v5, and 26 minutes in is when the game actually ended, so as soon as that composition came online, they said, you know what, we've had enough, we've hit our power spikes, we've got the items that we need, we're just going to brute force into base, take those turrets, and let me tell you something about Jinx, Mac, because you probably haven't seen a lot of Jinx in your elo, or maybe you have.
Yep. Oh,
maybe
I do
you have.
sometimes, I do, yes.
But the Jinx probably isn't of the caliber of Gunkrab Jinx, and they take towers very fast. So if you do die, it is almost left, right, and good night.
Mate, can I just give Gunkrab a shout out as well? Not only him, but Cupcake as well. Both getting the snipes, both getting the reads onto Wei. Not only were they bullying him all through the start of the game, but that mid-game play as well. Just, oh, that got me jumping out of my seat. And speaking of Cupcake, I believe we have him on the line for an interview as well, because unfortunately Nat's still out on an island in Brisbane and can't get an internet back yet. So Cupcake, you know, first off, congratulations. There's your first win, and I'm sure there's many more to come after that.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm excited to get the first win on the board. Yeah.
Look,
Cupcake.
Mac, I just want to interrupt for 2 seconds because I think there's a bit of a Kiwi romance going on right now. I see that Cupcake, or Big Dog Andy, he's had a bit of a haircut as well, similar haircut to my own. Is this a case of like, look good, feel good, play good? Because you were just turbo smurfing on that Fresh, flashing forward of hooks saying, watch me, this is a team to, you know, be fearful of. And what was running through your veins, mate?
Honestly, I was just sick of not like pushing our limits and like being really chad when I thought that we had space to, so I just try to make a statement, and thankfully that play worked out, and I just try to bring that like really, I don't know how else to say, but like alpha energy into the game so that other people can kind of rally behind it if they feel a little bit nervous or slow on stage games. So yeah, it definitely felt
I love
good
it.
to pull
It
that
worked
off.
effectively.
Yeah. And Skimmy really did take the words out of my mouth. I was going to compliment you on the fresh cut because it's definitely looking very fresh. Like maybe down to the barbers yesterday, but
True.
how are you feeling? How are you feeling after that? Because you know, obviously week one, not the week that you necessarily wanted, but there was some good signs there, right? You did have leads in some of those games, and you talked about you wanted to be the one to pull the trigger and just say go. And is this something that we're going to see from Direwolves more often now? Are you just going to be the guy that's on the Rel, on the Nautilus, on the Thresh, really just dictating what happens, where it happens, and how it happens?
Look, it's always going to be it's always going to be a work in progress. I think we had a very comfortable draft, like a clear win condition. I think they had a few holes in their draft, and we were comfortable punishing it with a slow pace. But I definitely want to be able to pull that trigger when the opportunity presents itself. And we're a team that, we struggled in week one, but we have very high goals and ambitions for all of us, and so we won't stop for anything less than winning and making sure that we're doing everything right.
All right, I just have one question, and can you please tell me why I shouldn't call Bully Hunters? Because you guys did not let Wei have any into that game.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure about the talent pick. Maybe it's something they've been preparing in the sidelines, or they wanted some like cheesy pick to throw us off. But I think he struggled a little bit compositionally, and he definitely got. We were sure to make him have like no openings into our team fights. He could probably see us like turning quickly on the flanks and stuff. So it was definitely a game plan and maybe a draft thing as well.
Oh, there you go. So again, congratulations, Cupcake, for the first win. Hopefully there's many more for you as the week progresses, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks, mate.
See you later. All right, so that brings us towards the end, and I have one more question off the back of that interview is, what is a Flame Horizon? Because I know it's the 100 CS difference, but I want to know the origins. Can you please tell me about this one?
Take us down memory lane, Jubes.
Yeah, there's a player, Flame, who played in the LCK, and he was just like head and shoulders above many a top laners, and 100 CS gap would happen frequently, or quite frequently, and thus the Flame Horizon was born.
Oh, there you go.
100 CS gap.
Off the back of the myth, the legend, Flame, hopefully one day we'll get to see him playing again, I'm sure. Is he still around? Is he still around, or is he gone?
He was playing last year.
Didn't he go to NA? Let's have a quick look. Let's do it live.
Oh,
he definitely played last year, or maybe not even definitely last year.
I'm going to leave it with you, boys.
It's done.
It's over. Schedule. He's gone. Oh, I was going to say, tell us.
Was he coaching though, or did he go coach? Or
he played for Dam 1, yeah. He went back to Korea for Dam 1, and then it's done. It's over.
He might just be like a full-time model now. He's a good-looking dude. He's a good-looking dude.
Well, there you go. As Flame goes into the Horizon, so do we. We've got a break to get into the third game of the night. We'll see you all very shortly.
Negated. Just by that Seeker's Archive.
The flash hook! He's a madman. He did it on vision, but he had to make a prediction. He flashes on through, and that is going to be only picking up his first kill of the game.
Direwolves composition obviously wants to group up.
Oh! Cupcake is literally smurfing right now with these hooks. Goes for the instant box into Exhaust. Unfortunately, no follow-up right now, but they can arrest.